Hey y'all. Hey, how y'all doing? For those who don't really know me like that, my name is Akeem. I've come to be this being from a very interesting path. Won't really get into that, but I'm definitely here on Earth to show humans unconditional love and show them how to live in it and be in it. So, first, I want to just open it up for you guys. Do you guys have any questions? Like, literally, like anything involving enlightenment whatsoever? Spirituality, literally doesn't matter. Aliens, whatever. No? I'll give you like 30 seconds before I go in my repertoire. Because, of course, I prepare things because people don't want to ask questions. So,
well, I'm in this weird discovery. I believe that I'm asexual. I don't know. I'm having a weird time with love and interacting with people.
Okay.
And I just want to figure out how to check in with that. Like, how do I really listen to what my spirit is saying about who I am and who I want to be?
So, what do you mean by you're asexual? Are you not attracted to anybody?
Maybe I'm not asexual. People just bother me, and not in a way where it's everyone bothers me because I enjoy hanging out with people and I enjoy having friendships. But when it comes to intimacy, I just become I'm an observer. I don't really necessarily want to participate, but I do like to observe. And then once people are trying to pull me in to have me participate, I'm very uncomfortable. I'm oh. Okay.
So to me, it sounds like trauma.
I haven't had any trauma. I mean, that in this lifetime.
So there was no situation in your past where I don't know, maybe someone made you feel bad about being sexually expressive. Why'd you raise your hand, Kyle?
Oh no, I definitely just felt like I wanted to say that you can't confuse behavior with your being.
Okay.
And I think King can go off of the being. Once you got the being down, everything else is going to make sense.
Yeah. So okay, go ahead.
Okay. Also, I just want to ask, how did, growing up, how did you learn about love? What did you see it? What was your take on it? Do you see love as a negative thing that holds people back, or I'm just trying to get to the psychology of it. I feel like the inner child and just. Yeah. Internal world has the answers to all the answers to everything are within. So it's meditate and figure it out and try to get back to the source of what made you feel that way.
Yeah.
And it might not be in this moment, honestly. It's probably gonna be something you really have to think about.
Yeah.
For real. But back to what Kyle was saying, yeah, your being doesn't know asexual. Who you really are has none of these issues. So this is your personality having these issues. So that's why it is trauma. Because it can't be your being. It's not, you're like, oh, what does my being want? Your being just wants to be. And what that means is participate and engage in life. So if you're resisting life, then that's your personality, and that's something you should just try to uncover. You really got to think about it. Trust me, trauma is so deep that you act in it. So that's why you don't think it's trauma. It becomes a part of you. Seriously.
So maybe I need to redefine what I believe trauma is, because trauma for me is something it's a scary situation, a situation
not always.
That's uncomfortable.
So
maybe I just have to redefine what that is.
Yeah. So trauma, all right. When I was 14, I say this all the time. 13, 12, I don't know. But I walked out. I heard gunshots, and I walked outside, and literally, there was just blood just going down the street. So I went to the edge of the porch, and I was like, oh, and there's literally a body right there. So I never brought that up until last year. And I'm realizing I guess that's why I'm so so insensitive to death. I saw that and it was nothing. It literally was nothing. And I went back in the house. That's trauma. Because that's death at your doorstep. And I'm sitting here that's what I mean by trauma. Things happen and then it becomes a part of you and you just keep going without addressing it. So like at war, you know, somebody's killing somebody, you kill somebody, and it's in the army, so it's whatever. Everybody's doing this, whatever. Then 10 years later, now you fucked up. So it's something.
I mean, maybe it's something that it's been like buried or something, but maybe just like in this moment, I can't think of anything.
Yeah, that's fine.
Like,
And the only reason I'm not going hella deep into it because then it'll be like a personal consult, and then I exclude everybody else. But we can figure it out. But yeah, your being, just to kind of answer that, like your being is always it's always one thing. It's always unconditional to the entirety of life. So it'll never judge. It'll never say you shouldn't do this. Or, like, it's always your perspective on what's good or bad. Seriously. All right. How does everybody feel about that answer? Is anybody confused about the answer? Does it not make sense? Or
I agree, but I think that trauma can also be a part of like, kind of like how you said you're so deep. Like it's so deep that you're sometimes in it. I think that sometimes we don't even realize the things that affect us. It could be you being in 3rd grade and everyone deciding that they want to share their gummy bears with everyone besides you. And then all of a sudden you hate people for the rest of your life.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I think that when we think of trauma, we think of something that's kind of like tangible. But I think that as a woman in general and as a black woman, it's no way to not experience trauma because the world is so degrading to us as beings in general. Everything about us is seen as a negative thing. So I think that when you think of the way women perceive sexuality, it's usually, even if we do engage in it, typically like the amount of women who engage in their sexual preferences but still feel some sort of guilt is, I would say, 99%. Because we're told that everything we do is wrong. And so I don't think that trauma always has to be changeable, but that's the way we view it. You know what I mean? So.
yeah, and it's not as easy to pick out, and that's why it does take things like psychedelics or therapy to like extract it, because it's so deep. Yeah, so I mean, I agree with you. Like, some things are just that deep, but it's like that's why spirituality is actually the path of remembering who you were before all the trauma. So spirituality is a path of shedding. So that is the point. So it's like that's like the journey. That's like the adventure. It's like, all right, I came here and they put all this shit on me. I'm about to get out of all of it. That's literally it. For real. What you say?
Oh no, I totally agree with that point. Like you really hit it on the nail. Like it's gonna get confusing trying to figure out how to heal this trauma because we're peeling back layers from the outside in and not starting from the inside and realizing who we are, understanding our source, our light, and then operating from that point and now trying to figure out, okay, these are the things that affected me in my life as a human. But as a spirit, I will always overcome that, but I'm just gonna, go through this time period and just learn as a 3-dimensional being.
Yeah, like life is about knowing your source, but enjoying being human being. Yeah.
I feel like we should snap.
Does anybody else have any like inquiries, concerns, questions? But right now, you're good? All right. So let me pull one out. Who knows what the flower of life is? All right. So the flower of life is this. Here. Can everybody see that? All right. So have you ever seen this? Has everybody seen this before?
Yeah.
You have? You haven't at all. So you have no clue what this is. That is so good.
I can't really
Sorry.
see from back here, but it doesn't look familiar. It looks like a drink catcher from here.
It does. That's a good observation.
Okay, I've seen the pattern, but not that specific.
So dream captures are made from this concept, and you'll understand why when I get into it. So I wish I had a projector, but there's a. So what I'm gonna do is explain to you why we're all one. So at the base of every photon, every living thing in existence is literally this. Literally. So I can bring up, I have the picture on my phone. Matter of fact, I'll bring it up so I can show you to make this seem a little more impactful. You, when you're born, you're this. So let me show you. And I just want everybody to pass this around. So on the picture, you'll actually see the formation building into this. And you'll also see on the right side of the picture, that's a fetus being born, embryo, whatever. I don't know which one it is, but yeah. So I wait for everybody to see that before I continue. And in the middle is actually the formation of a galaxy, which is literally the same concept. Because, you know, that's the thing amongst like spiritual people. We're all one, like we're all the same thing. But it's like no one really explains why we're all one. We all just supposed to accept that we're all one. But the thing is, like, if this formation is at the base of every living thing, then we would have to be all one. This symbol, what's your name in the back? Sorry, in the green coat. What's your? Say it again? Naja. Yeah, so this like even like so you could break down this like shelf here. You break it down like all the way down to like where you can't see it, but you'll see this. And what this so if we think about the book of Genesis and how whoever wrote it said, you know, the first day, the second day, the third day, the fourth day. If you go actually to look back at the picture I showed you, it's literally the building of consciousness. So it's like the Bible is so full of metaphors and stories. And for me, that's actually what they were talking about. Because on the second day, on the second formation of the flower of life is light. It's the birth of light. And on the second day in the Bible, it was the birth of light. So it's literally showing you the formation of birth of every living thing. But these living things take different forms, like human, a chair, a table, a rat, like whatever. But it's still this. So, like, honestly, it's really that simple. I don't have to go deeper than that. And that's something that you can look into. So if you actually look into the fact that we're all this, and it expands from this, then everybody would have to be on the equal playing field. Everyone would have to be the same, and we'd have to be unconditional to all things because this is everything, and you are this. So, like, I promise you, when you actually look into this, it'll get deeper for you, and you'll like know that this literally is you. So this is why people wear this shit all the time, and they put it on their foreheads and shit. I actually might get this tattooed on my forehead, but like literally this is like.
You put it here.
Or like a teardrop. But yeah, so like any questions? So does anybody have any like questions or concerns regarding that? Because like this is actually science, so it's not even a theory. It's not some shit I'm making up. So go ahead.
I've seen that before.
Uh-huh.
But I'm a very eccentric person, so I think outside the box.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we're the only beings living in the universe. This universe is so vast.
Mm-hmm.
I really think there's more than one universe right in the midst of where we live at here.
Mm-hmm.
I really truly believe that.
Yeah.
Not only that, something did bring us here. Whatever that something is that very thing, the essence of what you brought up.
Mm-hmm.
And if you ever bring up crop circles,
Mm-hmm.
the actual shape, like when they magnify it,
Mm-hmm.
in fact, it's a few crop circles that's of that sort of,
Yes.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
the crop circle within itself, when you break it down, are shapes of that. Not only that, it's a crop circle itself that is of that shape.
Absolutely.
If you bring it up, they would show it.
Yeah. So what I definitely did fail to mention, which is kind of important. This is sacred geometry. It's geometry, and life is mathematical. It's called sacred because when you learn it, you actually understand the sacredness of life. But really, it's literally math. So these beings that are putting these crop circles down are literally just showing you the math of life. Like what's funny is that all the time, every day, all day, we're getting signals that we're all one, and we're literally ignoring it. But the thing is, the universe is unconditional, so it won't stop.
And last but not least, a lot of religions, if you know, like especially Muslim religion, Muslim, what are they, Catholic, Muslim, like some of the major religions, including the ones that don't follow by the book. If you notice some of the symbols, one that pops up a lot, because you know Muslims, when you go into
Mosque.
there's a mosque,
Yeah.
you would see like their writing, and the writing would shape that sort of
Yeah.
shape right there.
Yeah.
And it's weird, but
But no one questions it. Like, no one's like, why? Why is this here? Like, we just walk into the mosque and...
mandalas,
Say it again?
the mandala, was it mandalas? Like the whole,
Yeah.
for some reason, they always come towards that particular
Yeah.
model.
Yeah. Because life is a spiral. But that's another thing. So this is why you see this. Because the sacred geometry is literally just resembling everything that life is about. And when you learn sacred geometry, you literally learn everything about life. Like, for real. But, yeah. Does anyone have any else questions or concerns about the fly of life, or why we're all one, or if we're all one?
You said that there were stages of the flower of life.
Yes.
So how many? Do you know all those stages, and then like what they represent?
So I knew/know up to the flower of life because it goes way beyond this. So this is actually cut off, literally, with a circle. Like, it just expands and expands because that is life. Like, in this room is the flower of life. But, like, in the beginning, so, like, when there was no circle, that's consciousness. Consciousness needed to move, but it can't move without it being adjacent to something. So it created something to move. So it created that, went to the top, and it created another one. And went to the edge of that, made another one, and kept going around until you create the seed of life. The seed is much smaller than this. So if you just Google the seed of life, you'll just see the flower, but smaller. And then it keeps going and going and going until it just expands. But in each formation up to the 7th formation is another, like, it's another aspect of life. So like light and intelligence, whatever, until you get to the 7th. And that's when God rested. Yeah. Yeah. So, is that it for that one?
After like weird ass traumatic relationships that ain't need to happen, but it did need. I know that it needed to happen.
Yeah.
But like just rehealing and like trusting that. I guess like getting to the point of like. I feel like having your heart broken is like a rite of passage, and like when you come out, it's like, what do you do after it? Are you just gonna be a little bitch about it, or are you gonna like try to like get back in the game? Like, So just advice on stop being such a thug internally, because that's how I feel.
Yeah, I mean, this is a great question, kind of, because I too went through heartbreak. So I could just tell you how I went through it, because that's the only thing I can do, and kind of give you a little advice. But when I got my heart broken, which basically what happened was I was with someone for like a year and a half or something, and they cheated on me. But with someone who they said was their friend, you know how that go. And I never gotten cheated on before. At least I didn't know. So, and a lot of guys don't know or have never gotten cheated on. So it's like a thing. So that's a trauma too for guys. But because I got cheated on and it hurt so bad, I went the route of, okay, I don't really want anyone in life to ever feel this way, at least from me anyway. Like, that was my stance. Like, okay, look, if this shit hurt me, and I literally was like, yo, I can imagine all the women who get cheated on all the time. Like, what the fuck? Like, this shit, how y'all doing that? Like, literally, how do y'all do this shit when I'm feeling like I'm about to die? Like, she just cheated on me. Like, this shit is over. But, yeah, so I started getting in touch with myself. So, like, I don't know, like, I led myself to softer music. That's when I started getting into Erykah Badu, Jill Scott, all of that shit. And I even went back further. I started listening to, like, 60s and 70s music. Why? Because the men were actually talking about love and, like, constantly. Every song was about love. So I'm like, So how did these men come to this place where they're like so accepting and they love and they just openly talking about it and everything? And so I analyzed that and I began to implement those ways into myself. So I'm listening to these songs and I'm like, all right, well, now he loving her all the way and like he getting on his knees and like, god damn, like time after time, like all the things that they saying in these old songs, and I'm like, I gotta be that. You know what I'm saying? It's so unconditional. And honestly, when you make the intention to go a route, the universe will just form it around you. So my intention was, I want to be loved now. And it just started bringing me shit. That's actually really the answer. It's like your intention. If you say literally right now, you know what? I'm now going to have an amazing experience in love. And follow that with a perspective of anything can happen and I'm accepting of all things. Those two together. If you split them, then you're in turmoil. But if you bring them together, it's like, all right, I'm loving, and then I meet somebody else, and they don't really treat me right. But then you say, okay, maybe they've been hurt. Maybe they've been traumatized. Maybe there's something that they're doing, because obviously if they actually wanted to be in love and love me, they would just do it. So what's stopping them? And that's where your unconditional nature comes in. And you have to learn that from being hurt, and that's why it is a rites of passage. So you're right.
Bars. Material for your SoundCloud career.
Thanks. But yeah, heartbreak was a thing, man. But you gotta embrace it, because it's like the best thing that can happen to you.
Yeah.
It
I was
really
to see
is.
that, and like in retrospect, I realized that like what I did is actually the exact opposite of what you just said you did, because I just stopped listening to like love music, because especially like I was like reading The Secret and like learning about like, you know, the law of attraction at the time, and it's like it's not a vibration I wanted to be in, just being fucking sad about shit all the time. And like, cause like even positive love music would like make me feel like sad at the time. So it was just, let me just listen to some fucking Gucci, like.
You know what? And let me add something before I get to that love part. So it's funny. Yeah, I do Uber in LA. And guess who gets in my car? Damo Genesis.
Wow.
So Damo Genesis, I don't know if anybody knows what Damo Genesis is, but he's part of our future, blah, blah, blah. And he gets in my car, and I'm like, I'm going to leave him alone. You know, I know he's trying to chill. He high, I can smell it. But I'm just like, I got to say this one thing. So I'm like, yo, I literally say, I got to say this one thing to you. I'm going to let you go, but I got to say this one thing. I say, yo, the song you made called All Alone, yo, that got me through. And he was like, yo, so many people tell me about that song, bro, blah, blah, blah. And after that, I left him alone. But so that's what I want to say. Yo, when you get hurt, be hurt. Like, be it. Like, I'm fucking hurt. Don't react, though. Please don't react. But just know that you're hurt. Accept it. Because guess what that's going to do? It's going to make you feel insane. Because you're not going to want to walk around, I'm hurt. That's dumb as fuck. But in it, you have to be hurt and accept it. And that's what it did for me. All alone, it put me in this space where, yeah, like, fuck it. I'm hurt. Like, I'm all alone out here, yo. Like, I don't know why this keeps coming back on. I just really wonder why that keeps. Yeah. So, yeah. When you embrace being alone, you can be with anyone, and then you can simultaneously also be alone. So being alone doesn't matter, you know. And then you're not really worried about love, and we know when you're not worried about things, it comes to you. It's like a formula. It's a trick. It's like a trick that you play on yourself before you even got here. Like, of course the contrast will make me want it deeper. Yeah. But then you're here and you're like, fuck, contrast. Like, I want what I want, and this shit is stopping me from getting what I want. But you don't understand that when you get what you want, then it'll be even sweeter. But we take that cliche for granted. Oh, it'll be sweeter. No, yo, like, this is about to be the shit when I get this. You know what I'm saying? So it's the contrast of heartbreak that makes you love more.
I appreciate you.
Yeah. Anybody else have any questions or concerns, comments regarding love and heartbreak, relationships? If you should be in one or not?
This is definitely an interlude in the album.
I love how you're just like executive producing my first mixtape and everything. All right, this is the interlude. But yeah, all right, so we're good? Yeah.
You're like, I'm also putting myself on.
You know what I'm gonna ask, so. Any questions? This on. Anything?
So I was gonna say, I don't know if you into like the gemstones and like crystals and all that, but I was gonna mention that when the other young lady was talking about her heartbreak, like rose quartz supposed to help with that.
I
don't
just
know
bought
if you,
that just now.
Yeah,
I went in the bag and I bought that. I peeped. Thank you though. That's
Alright.
awesome.
Apparently it works. I haven't experienced it, but yeah. Have you had any experience with like any particular like gemstones like helping you through your journey?
Stones are interesting for me because stones are definitely agents for source. Stones are vessels. But like when I got into stones, I loved them and I still do. But I did realize that the stone is just for your confidence. Like it does transmute energy, but you are the energy. If we're all that. So you are the rose quartz. So the rose quartz is there for you to believe that you can gain more love from it. But if you remove the rose quartz and you have that same belief, don't you think you still get the same love? No, so I'm not saying don't use stones. Trust me, like yo, if you look at my bag, I got hella stones. I love stones, and but for me now it's just like they help me. But so to answer your question though, shungite. Shungite is a very, very strong stone. It's one of the oldest stones. It's an ancient stone from Russia, and I have a rough piece of it. And I would meditate with shungite, and it would literally send the most potent vibrations through my body, especially when I would meditate with it after smoking marijuana. Like you should get shungite. Shungite is literally the miracle stone.
What's it good for?
It's an elixir. So if you put it in your water, it'll cleanse it'll cleanse it of all contaminants, and it'll be God water, meaning it'll be living water. It'll be actual spring water. It protect people get like shungite phone cases because they protect from electromagnetic waves, and like it literally does everything. So look into shungite but stones, like they're amazing. I love stones. I really do. They're like one of those things that when you get into spirituality, that's like one of the first things that you kind of get into is the stones.
I literally have a tiny piece of it right here.
Yeah, so they have,
Oh, really?
there you go. They have smooth shungite and they have rough shungite. Like they pretty much do the same thing. They say the rough stones are stronger, but it's whatever. I only think that because it's been through so many hands, it's kind of like draining the energy out of it. Like stones are for you, it's not for for everybody. So Carissa, when you get that back, I would cleanse that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. No, you're fine. It's all good. I mean, that's what you're there for. You're there to transmute whatever, So just get everybody off of that. Because shungite is just, I love that stone. Yeah. And then also like these are seeds, and they help with blood flow in your body.
You call it seeds?
They are seeds. To be honest with you, I forgot the name. I think they're something kesh. But but I did get this from Bali, Indonesia, and she informed me of the properties and how I should wear it. And they're also prayer beads too. So when you should pray with these, and they're supposed to amplify your prayer. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just getting into like all of the stones and stuff. So like, I'm wondering how I need to buy one. I really want is citrine to start off with.
I have a citrine too.
So, oh really? Nice. Yeah, I'm trying to. I want a piece.
She on it.
I
See. Yeah, it's in the back.
That's something I want to get into.
But no, crystals also they create grids too. So people use crystals to create consciousness grids. Like different stones, when you align them together, they create this grid that I don't know, you really got to believe in magic. You got to really know that magic exists, and that's when the stones really work for you. So that's the biggest component, I would say, as far as stones.
Is it time for another question?
Are you good, as far as the stone question, bro? Yes, he's good.
Yeah, so I'm in like this part of my journey where, I don't know, my journey started a while ago. So, I feel like everyone is coming to like a level of commonality around spirituality and everything. Duality, life, living, being, existing. Learning what they're of and where they came from and trying to get a gist of where they're going, even though we're all kind of going in loops and things like that. I don't know. I struggle now with, and not even struggle, but have let go of, like, this need to, like, be possessive of my spirituality and wanting to put it on anyone, really.
Me too.
Because it just, I feel like it evolved from that point of like, oh, like, this is what I am and what this should look like, when it should really just be and not really look like anything or sound like anything specific. I don't know, I feel like, and that's something that I feel people have to kind of come to in their own way. So even saying this is kind of like saying like, oh, we need to let go of that. But it's not saying that, it's just, that's kind of like the next part. We all kind of go through this trying to put things in, and it made me think about it because I too am heavy into like crystals and using my crystals, and my whole room is like a crystal, right? It's like one big crystal, and like fabrics and things like that. But I used to put a lot of my spirituality into materialism and wanting to, like you said, make these things tangible so that I could then believe them. But you don't really need to like put those things into like the crystal or like into, you know, the garment or into the bead or into the anything. You don't have to transmit. You don't have to emit. You don't have to put out. You don't have to take in. You don't have to. Like, you could literally just get up and lay there and just be, and you would still have the same next day or the same yesterday. And it's kind of funny that that's the way that things happen. And people don't think about it like that, but literally everything as we know it, like the way that we get up and go to work and like play with money and paper, and like we've given all of these things names, but we could literally change our existence within our own like personal silo. And sometimes like we jump across silos and like kind of break through those things and say, well, I want you to be a part of this, or I want you to be a part of this. But we could literally spend all of eternity by ourselves and none of it really matters, is what I came to conclusion of. But it's like, you could choose all of these people and these times to have and the laughter and all of those things, but I feel like in my meditation especially, which I'm really heavy into, but I've come to just this stillness, just an ease of like, things are gonna be what they're gonna be, all of this is gonna come to one point, and none of this is gonna matter. And I think I kind of, again, struggle with telling people that none of this matters. I don't say it, but it doesn't. You know what I mean? Like, people run around like, Trump is raining hell on us. Like, shut the fuck up, you know? Honestly, it's like, it doesn't fucking matter. Or people just come up with all of these rules and weird shit because they don't want to experience or like feel or like just be, you know what I mean? And that makes me mad, but it shouldn't make me mad. So that's what I'm having a problem with, because it's like I've come to that point, but it's almost like I can't touch it because there's so much fucking noise.
It's kind of like you gotta remain where you are until everybody catches up, unfortunately. And I don't want to use the word catch up as if it has some direction. But when people begin to accept more of how you see your reality, then you'll feel more comfortable. You know what I'm saying? But you gotta be comfortable with your reality with people not accepting it. So that's just something you just work on. It's not like a tactic or, you know, it's like, you're right. So I just want to address what she's saying. Like, yeah, so you get to this part where you realize like, all right, there's all these things, the crystals and all of this, and I ain't want to say this because like I don't think I should say this in this setting, but regardless, it is what it is. You do all this stuff and it's like, yeah, the mantras, mandalas, all these things and source and YouTube videos and Abraham Hicks, and then you're like, literally, that's it's like okay, like because it doesn't matter because all of this shit is gonna happen anyway. So this is how I see life. Life is literally like Grand Theft Auto. It's really the best thing to describe it. Seriously. Because you start the game and you like, what am I about to do? You go get dressed, you put on any clothes you want, and you're like, my man's kind of skinny, let me pump him up. Go in the gym, boom, 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 boom. And then when you do that, what happens? The little ladies, okay. In the video game. And then like, you know, big homie call you, hey, we gotta hit down the spot. And you get to choose. Do I go with big homie or do I just hang on? Let me go with big homie. So then you go big homie and there's a mission. And you're on the mission and shit happens and then somebody kill your little brother. Oh shit. This is still a video game. Killing your little brother and all of this shit and you go to eat at the chicken spot and you smack somebody, you run somebody over, all of this shit. But the point is though, then what happens? You turn the game off.
And it's over.
And it's over. And none of it matters. And that's literally what happens in life.
Simulation.
You just die.
Yeah.
I'll probably remember Kyle for like the first 5 minutes of after I die. But I'm here, so I'm gonna appreciate the fuck out of him while I'm here. I'm here, so I'm gonna definitely ride as many roller coasters as I can. I'm here, so I'm gonna experience so many countries. I'm here, I'm tasting all food. Steak, GMO steak, organic steak. I'm gonna taste it. Why? I'm gonna just taste it, see how it tastes. And guess what's gonna happen? My body gonna be like, we don't fuck with that. And you should listen to your body because your body is sending you emotions, energy, and motion. It's just trying to tell you, look, you're kind of far off from where your base is. And you can keep going there, but we're gonna keep telling you. So every time you eat the steak and your stomach hurt and then you develop cancer and your body's like, come on, bro, like we're just trying to get you back here, man. And then you can just die. But again, doesn't matter. So life is literally about living it till its fullest while you're here. And that does not comprise of any rules. How is living to the fullest within a rule? We're talking about fullest. Full. Like infinite. Like life is like it's infinite. So I'm so glad that you said that because it's like, listen, stop not doing stuff because someone said not to do it. Stop not doing stuff because someone said it was bad. Someone said it was bad. Did you say it was bad? Did Source say it was bad? Because guess what? Source won't say anything is bad. And I just got into an argument with my best friend. She was like, she's a full-on Christian. And she was like, how could you sit here and say, she was like, if I killed your mother right now, is that bad? And I took a deep breath because I knew what I was about to say. I said, no, it's not bad. It just happened. She's like, how could you? I killed your mom. But it's like, am I my mother? Like, you kill me. What you want me to say about that? Because I'm not even me. You're slicing human skin, but did I tell you I was human skin? I'm not that. So it's like, there's no good or bad. So do what you want, but just know your body will tell you if it's good or bad or not. It's gonna tell you. And your emotion. You'll get angry. You can't possibly kill somebody and not feel that. You just can't. And then it'll just turn into trauma. Like it'll just begin affecting you, it'll fester. But it's not bad. Nothing's good or bad. It just is. So live life like it just is. Literally live life like Grand Theft Auto, but please don't run nobody over. Cause that's gonna suck. You're gonna go to jail. You know what I'm saying? Then you're gonna be in a cell. Then you're really in a box. You think you're in a box out here, you're really in a box. With niggas who wanna get in your shit. You know what I mean? So it's like, do you want that part of life? I mean, that's not even good or bad. That's just a situation that you should put yourself into. Cause humans made these shits up. So it's just like, yeah, just live. And like, yeah, like people ask me like, are you vegan? It's like, like I am actually most of the time, but literally last week I had Kool-Aid and I had ice cream and it wasn't non-dairy. And yo, I was farting like a moth. And I was like, I'm definitely not eating that shit again. But that's how you know when you should do or not do something. When your body tells you if you should or should not. Like I had something going on with my hand and I'm not eating meat. And a spiritual advisor actually suggested that I eat meat. Not GMO meat, not fucked up cow meat. We're talking about actual, for real grass fed, for real, you know what I'm saying? Like, and there's places where you can get that for sure. But she suggested that, and at first I'm like, I'm not doing that. But then she's like, yeah, like there's elements in the meat that can actually help your skin condition. I'm like, damn, okay. And of course, it's in other shit too. It's in plant, but we're just saying like nothing's bad. Meat isn't even bad. It's how we treat it. It's how we just disgusting how we do shit. I was just watching shit on Facebook about the chickens and shit. And it's like it's horrible. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, but then there's like, but we've been eating meat. There's tribes that eat meat every day. And they're amazing, they're intelligent, because that meat is not the problem. Right.
Yeah, just to piggyback on what you're saying, the meat isn't the problem. The problem is like the suffering attached to that animal. That like, if a chicken lives like a healthy, happy life, like death isn't shit. Like it's just a process that you naturally have to go through. But the energy of like a chicken being in like a slaughterhouse and like being pumped with all this bullshit, like that's the real problem. Like that's what you're ingesting. That energy is going from that. That pain is going from that chicken to you, and now you are dealing with all this bullshit as well, and you don't even realize it.
Because it's all energy. It's all energy. So it's like, I wouldn't let it bother you. Like, trust me, I know what you're saying because I get frustrated. Like, I don't have enough people agreeing with me right now. That's how I feel. Like, where's everybody at? Of course, there are people. There's whole spiritual communities. I'm not saying that. There are, and I be in them. I hang around them, whatever. But it's like, why? It's because most of my Facebook is Baltimore. Most of the people who are following me or listening to me are people here, and they not getting it. So I'm looking at it, and it's like no one's sharing, no one's liking, no one's retweeting from this place. And that is frustrating sometimes. But, like, I don't know, you just deal with it, I guess. Like, fuck it. Like, people gonna be them. You keep being you, and then you do shit like this, how I'm on a stool talking to people. If I wasn't me, I wouldn't even be up here. If I was scared, and I would, like, you just keep being the illustration. And because I'm the illustration, you were down to put me up here. Because I illustrated. I actually, like, showed, like, yeah, I'm living this life. I left. I quit my job. I got into spirituality. I'm meditating, and I'm doing all this shit. I'm literally meeting gurus in LA. Like, you know, it's because I'm the illustration. So just being the illustration, you don't have to worry about, like, what people are saying. Because words are very fleeting, they're frugal. But what you show and what they see is everlasting. Like, it's forever. Always. So, yeah. Anybody else? This is amazing, by the way. I love y'all. Because, like, I know that one day I'll be on, like, really, really bigger stages with a whole bunch of people. And I remember, like, how humble y'all made me feel. And, like, I'm just sitting in this room like, damn, like, this is cool. Yeah, I enjoy it. So thanks. Yeah, I don't want to make anybody cry. Next. Anybody else? Kyle, you got something for me?
So tell us about your journey. Once you wake up, once you understand that you're light, and you go back. What did you do? You were here in Baltimore. This is where you were born and raised. Like, why did you go on your journey? Why did you move from here? What's pushing you forward?
That's really good. So what is pushing me is me realizing that this is an adventure. So it's like, that is it. So it's an adventure. So I have to keep going. It's like Grand Theft Auto. I keep getting clues. Like, and so when I discovered light, and I'm like, okay, I had to leave because of vibration. The vibration here wasn't conducive to who I am, who I know I'm going to be. So I had to leave. Now I can come back because I'm now at this frequency where I can experience a lower frequency and not be affected. But before, I'm in a lower frequency and I'm of it and I'm acting in it. But when you can see it from the outside, you can tune into it and it not affect you. So literally it's as simple as me listening to like, I don't know, Willow all the time and like Erykah Badu, cool, high stuff. And I go listen to Future. I can tune into Future. I can enjoy, I love listening to like, I listen to trap all the time. But it's not, it's like when I'm listening, I'm getting the energy out of it. I'm literally sucking the energy. I'm not sucking the words. And I'm not sucking out the intention of what he's saying and how you want to sell this and lean that and fuck everything. Like I'm not trying to embody that consciousness anymore. Now I'm of another consciousness and I'm viewing it and I'm able to enjoy it because now I'm able to enjoy anything. Just like I can eat some dairy ice cream and I'm all right. You know what I'm saying? Like I can hang in different crowds. I know some spiritual people who can't come around here. Oh no, the energies. Oh, I wonder what they're gonna like. It's just you can't. How are you you're not multidimensional. You know what I'm saying? So what is driving me is the fact that I know that in this human body I can become something as close as to God as possible. I know this for a fact. It's not even a question. So because it's not a question, I keep so don't forget, we're literally creating our own realities. So my reality is I can reach this high consciousness state. So what's the universe going to do? It's going to show me that. Just like if I said I'm about to be a trap star, what the universe going to do? It's going to send me somebody who's going to front me some shit and I'm going to get on. Just like I'm about to be a superhero, it's going to send me some shit and I'm about to get on. So I'm about to get on. You know what I'm saying? I'm in Uber. I meet a guy. This nigga is hella into dolphins. Yo, just love dolphins. So I'm like, all right, so you know about dolphins, but you really know about dolphins. He was like, come on, bro. He started telling me about the river dolphin. I don't know if anybody know, but when the Amazon forest floods, it creates a river, and the dolphin appears. Magic. I swear to God. I watch animal shows all the time. So when he said the river dolphin, I was like, oh, we here. So we talking. He like, bro, let me get your Instagram. We follow each other. That's a normal thing on Uber. Let me get your some dolphin ass shit. So then I'm on Instagram. I'm like, yo, man, like something told me ask him about telekinesis and powers and shit. So I asked him like, yo, would you be down to like study this with me? He was like, yo, what? Say no more. Da 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 da. So we only didn't do it because I'm like, all right, I'm about to leave. And like, when we study, I wanted to be consistent. And I'm about to be gone for like a week, so I don't want to do it now. But I now have a person who I can study telekinesis with. And so I'm already looking up books. They already on my iBooks now. I'm ready. And then why that night, X-Men pops up on my Netflix. I mean, my HBO. I just watched X-Men. All these superpowers. I'm like, yeah, he moving that shit. Magneto killing shit. All right, yeah. Like, and it's not fascinating. It's reality. It's not, oh, this is cool. It's, I'm gonna do it. Just like when you about to do anything. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know if I'm going off topic, but like anything is possible. Anything. That's what's driving me. That anything is possible. Like, I think that in Baltimore I was limited. I felt like I could only do, it was like a glass ceiling. Then I get to LA and niggas just doing whatever. Like people just do I look at Baltimore, honestly, it's like a fish bowl. I come back in here and I dive in the bowl and it's like low key the lid closes a little bit. And I know I'm gonna get out because I got a plane ticket. But I get to LA and it's like, so, all right, so Baltimore is like this. I don't know who the person is, but I'm sorry, I'm going to just touch the first one. Baltimore is like, boom, and the person's like, LA is like,
Everybody doing anything.
it's a free fall. It's like heaven over there, low key. It's like a utopia. It's like any kind of food, fruit, animal, flower. I've seen flowers I've never seen in my life. You ever seen this flower called the bird of paradise?
Yes. I love California. I don't know if
This
it's
shit-
necessarily LA, but I do enjoy
No, it's California. It's not just LA. It's
I like
California.
I feel you.
I haven't been to
I gotta
Northern
go
California yet because it is beautiful, but not yet. I know. I guess so many like passages who tell me about Northern California. But yeah, like birds of paradise. If you don't know, it's like it's a plant, and the shit literally looks like a bird. And I don't know where else it's at, but the first time I saw it was in LA, and I was like, yo, this shit is hard. Like I'm coming from Baltimore, this shit hard as shit. Like, like what the fuck is this flower? But yeah, so you want your life to be an open platter because you want anything and anything to be possible. Unfortunately, in inner cities, it's not just Baltimore, but in inner cities, like a lot of opportunities aren't there. So it's like some things don't seem possible, but it is because it's on Earth. We got to stop looking at, all right, so you're born in Baltimore. If it's not possible here, then no. Because you can move to Germany and this shit is overflowing. Then what you gonna say? Oh, but that's Germany. Well, then you're limited. You're not infinite. You're not being who you actually are. We know that we're infinite. We know that we're made in God's image. So if we're made in the image of an infinite thing, then what are you? Like you can't keep, like people can't keep saying I'm made in the image of God, but then you restricting yourself. Then what are you, yo? Like you're just a human. You're not even the being part. Because you don't even know what the being is. What is being? That is God. So that's what's driving me, like being a superhero. I want to move metal and shit. I want to come down Monument Street floating. And people like, yo, what the fuck? And I just disappear and then leave me. Yo, I swear we saw that. Chill. I'm back in LA now. Because I can also teleport. So, but no, seriously, this is all possible, and I know it's possible. Just for instance, like flying cars. How would that work? My thesis is that
It already does.
if everything is vibrational, everything is frequency, it seems as though if I can get my vehicle, this living thing, mind you, to match a frequency of flight or match a frequency of direction. So this is how UFOs move. I don't care if you believe in aliens or not, I'm telling you. This is how UFOs move. They appear and they disappear. It's like coordinates. So it's like, I'm here at, let's just say this is 3232, and I want to go at 2808. I literally, 2808. I disappeared from 3832, and I'm at 2808. That's it. Like, and I did read this in a book, and when I read it, I felt it, and that's how I knew it was true. If you want to know what book that was, it's by Dolores Cannon. She's a past life hypnotherapist, so that means she hypnotizes you and she sends you back. But when you're back, you get to talking as if you are that being back there. So this being back there is telling her about how back in Atlantis days, this is what they were doing. And it's all in the book. The book thick as shit. It's called The Convoluted Universe, and it's 5 parts. It's for you. I swear it's good as shit. I swear, like it's the most entertaining thing ever. Like to tell you how the pyramids was built. That's easy too. I mean, kind of just the rock has to be of a certain frequency, and you move. It's like moving metal. It's like if I can make the pen on the table move, then I have to be able to get to a frequency where I can make the entire table move. And if I can make the entire table move, then I have to get to a frequency where I can make this entire room move. I just keep going and going and going and going. That's what's driving me, like a superhero. It's mesmerizing. I don't know, but if you can't even believe in magic, you'll literally think I'm crazy, and then that's that. So, but it's kind of weird when people don't believe in magic because your heart is beating without a cord. So it's like, how is that happening? Like, how is air just entering out of your body? Like, can you explain that? It has to be magic or sorcery. Source. All right. Thanks. I'll go into Alana, your face is like let's see if I got something else before. Does anybody want to come up before you want to come up?
No.
Oh, you bathroom? I'll share something that literally no one knows, and this is good. This is an intimate room. I guess Alana kind of knows a little bit. You kind of know about what I've been going through in LA a little bit. So when I left to go to LA, you know too. I began to actually. So I was staying with my family. And then that ended because I told my family I'd be out by a certain date, and that date came. So I had a car, so I had to sleep in the car. Okay. So I was actually like borderline homeless for a few months. There were times, of course, when I had friends, so I stay in their apartment or whatever. And then I began to know a guy named Reggie. So Reggie let me stay in his house sometimes, but he lived in Long Beach. I'm up in like, I need to work up top, so it's just too far. So oftentimes I was sleeping in my car. And I remember one time I did shrooms. I did the shrooms, and I know better. I know that you need to be in a great space to do the shrooms, and I wasn't. But I literally used the shrooms to try to pick me up, and at the time, it was the wrong thing to do. So I did it, and for the first time, I realized that I was living in my car. It's like I was blind to it. It's like I just accepted it. I was like, this is just reality. But I accepted it in the worst way possible, like accepting it like there's nothing else to do except it. Not like, oh, I'm accepting this and I'm going to move on from it. No, like, this is it. And so because of that, so I'm in the car and I do the shrooms and I look in the back and I'm like, and I see my clothes in the back and I see like just little trash on the floor, just little shit, like this is my apartment. And I'm like, yo, like I'm literally living in my car. And then on top of that, I felt lonely because I'm not around my friends in Baltimore, and I was with someone, and then like we were kind of still doing a little talking thing, but then it just ended. So now I have a woman to like share my story with and talk to every day, so she can tell me everything's gonna be great. You know what I'm saying? All that shit. So time went on, and so the moral of this though is this. So one day somebody was like, they did shrooms, and we together, and I did it too, but their trip was stronger. And she turned to me and she was like, because she knew my situation too, but I mean, she's her and I'm me, so it's like it's not like she's gonna be my savior, but at the same time, she's like, what are you doing? And when she said that, I knew what she was saying. I knew she was talking about. And I didn't want to hear it, but I was like, fuck, yo. I got to hear it. She's like, what the fuck are you doing? She was like, why is your life like this? Like I'm literally looking at you and I know you're way more powerful than this. Like, why are you actually still in your car? And yo, that shit hit me, yo. And I was just like, I didn't have nothing to say. I was like, yo, I literally said, I don't know, yo. And I just laid there. We was in the grass. But from that moment, I was like, I gotta change this shit, yo. Because first of all, I put her deal with hella shit. So I'm coming in your life as the guru, and then you turning to me like, what the fuck are you doing? So from that moment, I'm like, all right, this can't be life. And I know how to get out of it. I know that I need to be in a positive mindset. I know I need to imagine that my life is this way, even though it is this way. I can't see my reality as a true reality, and I have to be able to create it because I'm a magician. And so I know all of this, but it's like I forgot it because I got comfortable. Comfortable is the worst place to be because you're not growing. You're not expanding. You're not evolving. You're not going past the comfortable line. So I was comfortable in the car, and I didn't go past to say, oh, mind you, I've never been homeless here. I've had apartments since I moved out. But I'm over there, and I'm in the car. But anyway, so from that moment on, I'm like, all right, I'm going to change my mind. This car is amazing. I cleaned it. I washed it, everything. And I'm like, shit is nice. I'm riding around, and I'm just happy. I'm smiling. Because before, I was in the dumps. I was doing Uber Eats at the time. Like, I ain't getting no orders. My whole reality I was creating my reality with my distress. So when I switched it, oh my God, let me tell you, when I switched it, I find out that the guy I'm hanging with, his uncle inherits $365,000. Mind you, we have a business together. He does motivational consulting, and I do his production. So he's seeing me, and he he's sympathetic to my situation. He helping me as much as he can, but there's only so much he can do because he's a grown-ass man. I'm a grown-ass man. So, but this money comes out of nowhere. Mind you, this is right after I say, shit about to be better. I changed my mind. I literally changed my mind. I'm like, all right, shit about to be good. And we inherit this money, and his uncle gives the business $12,000. Reggie gives me $2,500. Now I have a new car. All right. So I had a 2003 Toyota Corolla. It wasn't all that great. And because the car wasn't all that great, I didn't feel great. So I get this 2015 Kia Optima. Now, still in my car, though. But I'm like, all right. Hella spacious. Now I can do Uber, so the car has to be clean. So I'm going to feel good being in it. All right, cool. Out of nowhere, his uncle's like, Reggie's like, yo, we need a new camera. I'm like, yo, we do need a new camera. Now I had like that camera right behind you. That's a $1,800 camera. A7S2. This is one of the top independent film cameras out right now. How do I know? Because when we look for cameras, I Googled the top cameras out right now. And it was a list. The Canon Mark the new Canon Mark was on there, and that was on there. And I'm a Canon guy, so of course I looked at Canon. I'm like, Canon cool. But then I started hearing about the Sony and how great the quality is. So, long story short, I get the Sony. And mind you, I had a camera. I wasn't really using it like that, but I got that. And then a little after that, I meet a woman who likes me, and she just take me in. It was crazy. It was weird. It was hella quick. And I'm staying there, but I realized, honestly, I don't really like her, and I did it for the convenience, to be honest. Like, you have an apartment, and I'm here, and let me move in. So, but I had to be honest with myself because I can't keep doing this. Look, I know you talking about kids, you talking about getting a couch in here. You want to make this a homey for me, and you want me to get now there's about to be some shit that's about to be long. So I need to cut this right now. So I'm like, I can't do it no more, and this is just not what I want to do. But before I did all that, she was like, I know we're moving fast, so if like you wanted to get another apartment and we just date and all that blah blah blah. But I'm like, no, let's just do it. Long story short on that, when I leave, she gives me $500. So it's like I came into her life to get $500 because I wasn't even there that long. And on top of that, I give her all this enlightenment. She now loves shrooms. All of this shit. I didn't do that. I shouldn't have done that. No, that's not what I should have done, because if I had did that, that would have made it way longer. Okay, so I'm glad.
She was like, look,
It is 500.
that's just your heartbeat.
I got you.
So I take it and I'm like, all right, so do I use the 500? Because she was giving it to me so I can go get like an Airbnb for the next 2 weeks. I'm like, this is $500. This is a down payment on some rent. So I thug it out. I remember I called Kyle. I said, I explained to Kyle. I said, all right, Kyle, look, this situation. Can I thug it out in my car like a couple more days? Or do I just get an Airbnb because I know I need my mental peace? I've been in the car. Let me just thug it. I thugged it. I come across this fucking housing situation where it's all artists. It's like an artist community. 3 houses and big. Just explain this to Carissa. Big screens everywhere. There's 2 editing bays where you can edit if you're a videographer. There's couches in every house. Full kitchens in every house. There's 6 complete bathrooms. There's a jacuzzi in the back. A pond with a turtle and koi fish. There's hammocks everywhere. They do plays at the house. There's a stage. There's a backdrop. There's literally everything. And the rent is cheaper. And I was lonely, and now I'm around people. After I said, this shit about to change. So I'm telling you all of that because I haven't even shared this. Because what I want to do is I want to make some kind of fancy like giving or something. I don't know. I'm still thinking on it, how I'm going to actually share this to the public. But I just want people to understand, like, when you just decide something, it just happens. Like, it's really that simple. Not when you decide something and you're a fucked up person, to be honest, because your vibration not right. So it's like, it's going to be harder for you to get it. It's going to be harder for you to manifest it. It's actually harder for corrupt white people to manifest things. They still get it, though. That's the thing. They still manifest it. It's gonna take longer because you fucked up. But if you was an angel, you just gonna get shit. You know what I'm saying? So more of that story is just decide. Like, just decide, and the decision will come into fruition, like, in the most, like, lip licking, like, way. Like, the most delicious way that you can never even imagine. Like, how could I imagine that my man's uncle would inherit $360,000? And then last week when I go to say, I got you, I'm still, no, don't worry about it, boy. You not saying he excusing me, but he's just like, yo, don't even worry about it. I know you did it. So I ain't even worrying about paying them $2,500 right now. Like, and on top of that, I've been to 3 countries this year, and I'm going to the 4th in December. Which before I left Baltimore, I said I'm going to be going to 4 countries a year. It wasn't supposed to be a 4th one. I was supposed to go to Africa on my birthday, which is January 10th so that would have been next year. That got canceled because my friend just graduated college and she can't afford it. Then someone comes and says, yo, I need you to record because we're doing a project in Africa where we're helping a school implement an art program. So the source said, oh, you're going to get this 4th trip. And it's going to be within what you do.
That's dope.
So now I get to take my brand new camera to Gambia and record some kids against some art projects. Done. And it's all because I decided. Like, I promise you, I don't have no special gift. It's really just because I was literally in here, like, with y'all. Like, y'all know, like, I was throwing house parties, getting everybody drunk. You know what I'm saying? Getting everybody wall to wall. Like, that's who I was. Like, I was the guy who you come to and we getting fucked up. And now I'm this. It's like, so I just want people to, like, see, like, how could I get from that to this so quickly, too? Because I only left Baltimore a year ago. And I was only this when I was in Baltimore for, like, a half a year to a year. I wasn't, that shit just came. When I first started working at the Real News, I wasn't all into spirituality. I was into love and wanting everybody to be great, but you wouldn't catch me with this shit. Like, and this, I got this from India. I went to India. Like, I didn't even plan to go to India. But then I go to the holiest land on earth. Why? Because I want to be the holiest man. So, of course, the universe is like, all right, go to Rishikesh, nigga, goddamn. And then, of course, I get in a fucking accident in Rishikesh. So, like, my forehead, like, if you see this, it's, like, kind of, like, fucked up. And it's because, like, I was on the way literally to the holiest country on earth, which is called Rishikesh. They don't even sell meat there or dairy. Halfway there, the bus flips over, and my head drags on the ground. Like, so this is all white. I can show y'all pictures on my phone. It's really nasty. And all blood, people screaming, blah, blah, blah. I can go into that. But it's just like, I'm just led. But I'm only led because I decided. Like, that's so important, yo. I'm not special. I just decided. And I want everybody to decide what they want their life to be about. And when you decide it, it will literally be like that. So I guess I just use my life as an illustration. Like, literally, it's right here. On my forehead, right above my third eye, coincidentally. Not coincidentally.
Coincidentally.
Yeah. So, what's up, man? You back there laughing and shit. What's up?
No, that was fun. I was about to say something. I just lost my train of thought.
That's cool.
Oh, I mean, you keep talking about deciding and stuff. It's like,
You ain't fucking with it.
I think a lot
This is
of
deciding shit, nigga. What's up?
a lot of people, I think, struggle with, like, what's the right thing to do? I don't want to say right, like it's right, wrong, but like what path should they take? And so like deciding is sometimes challenging because it's like, well, you could do this and it could work out and da-da-da-da, but you could also do this and, you know what I'm saying? And I guess it's just a matter of just like, what path is the path for you? I don't want to say like the right path, but like, how you know? And so, like, and there are bad decisions. That's a thing. Like,
Nope.
You might learn something from it.
Then is it a bad decision?
Else where you could have had a great experience. Like, you know what I mean?
But isn't that your perspective? If it's a great experience or not?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's all an experience.
Right. So that means that perspectives can change like this. Nothing like all my bad experiences were great experiences.
I can agree with that.
I literally dragged my head across the highway floor, but made it to Rishikesh.
Right.
Like and I'm here, and I got this. You might think, oh, was it worth this suit? Yeah, it was. This shit is amazing. I love this. Flat. You know what I'm saying?
I don't keep
And so, but no, but right. Yeah, that's your tails though, yo.
It was worth it.
How do you know if it's the right decision?
Exactly.
Like you if you see it as you guys see it as an adventure, yo. Like, all right, me and Kyle was on a road trip. I never climbed the mountain before, ever. I'm like, yo, let's climb mountains, yo. And I would only know if I liked it or if it was a bad decision or not if I did it. So now Kyle and me know I like climbing mountains. I didn't even know. Like, that shit is exciting. And I remember Kyle said, yo, you literally be climbing mountains for no reason, yo. Like, literally. I was like, yo, Kyle, could we climb this mountain? And we get to the top, we take a few pictures, and we come down. I didn't discover anything up there, no realizations, but it was just cool to climb, you know? But go ahead.
I had something to add about decision making.
Go ahead.
So, I don't know, like, you know how some people like struggle like half their lives to make decisions about certain things? Like they'll wait until they're like 37 to get married. Because that's what they think they have to wait to do, and like they don't know. I got married when I was 20. I had the experience for 4 years. Most marriages last 5 to 10 or whatever the fuck it is in America. But yeah, like I had that experience early. I have 2 kids. I had them early. I know what it is to be a mother. I know what it is to be a wife. I knew what it is to be a wife. Now I'm continuing to grow to know what it is to be a mother. But I made these decisions early to say, you know what, I'm not afraid to love someone in an unconditional way, and to say I would like to spend the rest of my life with you. Now, when I tested that theory and came to understand love as I know it now, without so much ownership, it's like just all a part of your journey. But the quicker you make these decisions and actually experience them for yourself, the quicker you'll kind of get to quote unquote wherever you're going, even though you don't have like really a final destination. You're just gonna continue to loop and loop and loop. But it's like if you don't make the decision, then you don't know, and then you wait until you're 37, and then now you're just now making the decision to unconditionally love someone. You haven't even made that decision yet. Like made the choice to say, damn, I'm gonna get an apartment with someone until you're 37 years. You know what I mean? Like, how the fuck did you wait that long to like just love someone? You know what I mean? Like just choose a different grocery store. Like people just go to Food King every week and never say, you know, I think I want to spend $10 extra on organic, non-GMO meat. You know, stuff like that is important. Like people think it's not, but monotony is a very strange thing. Like doing the same thing over and over and over and over every day is like, it's not going to get you anywhere. You're not going to change anything in your life. You're not going to change anything around you. Don't be afraid. You know what I mean? Like, just go. Like, you could literally get up tomorrow and say, fuck Thanksgiving, I'm going to Connecticut.
And what's going to go through your head? Oh, well, what if I did that, then this would happen? It's like,
Everyone will hate me. And
my mom's, no, fuck that. Just go.
And just like throw the turkey away. See what happens. Like,
you might get your ass whipped by grandma. But,
right.
Yeah.
You know, right?
Well, at least you know, like, all right. You throw the turkey away, you get your ass whipped. Like, all right. You see the correlation, like, and just that piggyback on that, like, yeah, I wouldn't know none of this shit had I not take the risk and just went to California. Like, fuck it, I might have just see. And yeah, I was homeless a little bit, and yeah, but now look where I'm at. I used to not like talking about my experience in LA. I used to be like, yeah, things are good. I'm settling. I will always say that I'm still settling in. No, I'm not. But now it's like
the general knowledge that like if you up and move to LA, like I know at least 4 people who up and moved to LA and they all struggle living out their car or crashing on people's couches or whatever for like a smooth year until they got on their feet.
And I didn't even know that. You know what I'm saying? So maybe if I knew that, I would have felt a little better about my situation. Yeah.
It's also what you said earlier about like just the contrast. Like you need to know what that feels like because you're gonna be healing someone that has felt like that. You can't relate if you ain't did that shit.
Yeah. I can't say, oh, you got to get up out that car. I know. So I'm gonna tell you like, yeah, I feel you, bro. I know how that shit was, and you gotta go hit McDonald's to use the bathroom. You know what I'm saying? Like I know all of that shit. I know everything that comes with living in the car. Everything. How you don't have a stove, so you gotta eat out all the time. Like just all that shit.
Shower at your
Shower. I Planet Fitness every morning. That did drive me good. Then I'm in the gym every morning. You know what I'm saying? So like, there's no bad. You know what I'm saying? This is all your perspective.
Save my fucking life.
Okay, free food days.
Yeah, Planet Fitness at $10 a month.
You be like,
Shit, I will pay $10 a month for a shower.
Well, when that shit
Yes. So yeah, that, and like you said, that is kind of the common story out there. But like I said, coming from here where you were never homeless and everything was pretty much good, you know, that's a hard pill to swallow. But you just gotta thug it out and persevere, because life is an adventure and you ain't planning shit really. Like it's like the best way to describe life is like you're on a boat and you don't control the ocean, but you do control the sails. So it's like the water gonna move you, but you kind of can direct where it's moving you within the movement. But you can't control the water though. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you can build a house and you know you can put all this shit into it, and then a fire.
Right.
Yeah, you sailed it right and you got your flat screen, but now it's burnt up. So
Now it's burnt.
so now you just gotta, you know, create another boat. You know what I'm saying?
People hate to be uncomfortable, but they kind of choose the level of comfortability they have with certain things. Like they'll be like, you know what, I like to have my rent paid, but also I'm gonna like, I don't know, it's kind of like you choose one thing over the other. Because it's like, I kind of like at one point, just to my story, like chose like, I don't want to be with this person anymore. And I knew that meant me being by myself with 2 kids,
Right.
and that I would have to at some point leave the home I was in that I knew was to be safe, or that I'm going to pay this every month because I have the money to do it. But when you choose lack, sometimes there's more abundance in that. And not just in material things, but you learn more things, and then you're able to give back more when you come back to the people that are around you, instead of just kind of living in this like, some people kind of constantly want to be up here and never let themselves fall because it feels good. But when you fall, you kind of come to these realizations and these conclusions that people who don't let themselves fall never get. They just kind of, they're clueless. They're
You're
like,
missing,
what
like,
the fuck is going on? Like, I don't know what you're talking about, struggles. Like I said, when I went to listen to the girl sing,
right.
she was like singing about shit, but I was like, bitch, you never got ran through by 2, you know what I mean? Like, you never got ran through by 2 niggas, you see what I'm saying? Like, you don't know what you're talking about. Like, she just
can't relate.
You know, like, you never had your heart broken, shut up. Because
Get
I
out
don't
of
know. Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like what is a movie without conflict? Like that's how the
Right.
character develops. Like
Literally.
it's like when you're in it, you're only experiencing this one scene. You're not cognizant of like the full fucking movie. Like that's the real shit. That's what
Wow.
actually matters.
I never seen it.
With a film degree, so that's
Yeah, I never seen it like that.
Damn.
True.
A film.
'Cause when you're just looking at that one scene, it's just that one scene. You're not realizing that the whole thing has to play out. You know what I'm saying? You just focused on this one scene. You're like, damn, that was good. Never heard it like that. Thank you.
joint mixtape.
Yes, we can collab. We can collab on that.
Creating
And
beats.
And then there's this part where it's like all of these words are words and none of these words matter, and we're all just gonna go back to like being quiet in like 10 minutes, and then we'll like go home, and then you'll be by yourself, and then you have all these thoughts, and then it's like, oh, here I am with my thoughts and not these people, and
Yeah.
it's just interesting how things.
Yeah, and that's why I like shit like this. It's like you can come to this and you go back home and he's like, damn, they was saying some shit. And you like, then you apply it to yourself like, all right, what's my habits? What the fuck am I fucking up? Like, and then you start getting introspective, and literally that's when your journey starts. That's it. And when you start thinking about when you say, all right, what the fuck am I doing, yo? That's the start of enlightenment. I swear to God, yo. Because then you like, all right, because then you want to know what you're doing. Now you want to know. You want to get to the place where you're always aware, and that place does exist, yo. It exists. Like, you know, I move through life just aware. Like, I just know. And it just comes from knowing stuff. But you don't know anything until you experience it. So it really comes from experiencing shit.
Oh, I love experiencing shit. I'm sorry.
No,
I like got into my own head for a second. Like, that's how I got here. I'm not even from here. I moved here from Oklahoma. Like, because
Wow.
I picked it out on a map. And I was like,
Damn.
all right, I'm ready to move. Like, I just
Wow.
don't want to be here anymore. Yeah,
What?
like, but that's how I experience life. Like,
That's so fun.
that's why when Alana's like, oh, I know I can call Gabby because I know she's going to have a good time, because I have decided that I will always have a good time. I will
Wow.
always be in a space where I
You can enjoy
be
yourself.
happy,
Yeah.
and I'm going to enjoy myself,
Yeah.
no matter what else is going on around me. Because I got to live with it, so I'm going to enjoy myself, and I'm going to feel good. Like, That's how I know. Like,
That's
you guys,
probably-
this was like,
yeah.
oh yeah, come out. Like,
Yeah. There's probably no one else I can text on Monday and say like, let's get on a yacht
And on a Monday
on a
too.
Monday. Like,
Yeah, but I got this to do. How much it costs? And
Yeah,
like all
like,
this shit. It's like, come on, nigga.
I don't even know how many questions I asked you. I was like,
one.
Come on, what time? Come
what
on,
are you wearing?
I was about to say, what are you wearing? Hey, what kind of shoes you got on? Like,
What's your address?
Yeah. Do we meet?
You're
We're
right.
gonna meet there and then we're gonna go together? Like, is that what's gonna happen?
No, that's-
no, like,
that's dope,
I
though.
really, like, when you say make a decision, like, that's, I was in this place where I was so depressed at one point. I was like in Oklahoma and I was just like really like living, it was like for a good 2-3 years, it was just shitty, you know? And I made a decision I didn't want to do that ever again. And I didn't want to be that ever again. And I haven't. And like, and it feels good. Like I just made up my mind, like, all right, well, it happened for a reason. I got some shit out of it, and I won't do it again. Like I just won't.
do you feel like you'll do that again? Like pick another place on the map?
Yeah, because that's just who I am. I've lived in a lot of different places.
Really?
I lived in Palo Alto, California.
Wow. Okay.
And I.
Right, I'm about to say Palo Alto.
Well, I spent my 22nd birthday on a mountain, and I woke up and it was like just this magical experience where it was just like, God, you're here.
On a
And
mountain.
you exist and you have the use of all of your limbs. You know, like just you have your mind. Like it was great. And then I lived in Honesdale, Pennsylvania, with like the weirdest of the weirdest people. But it was awesome because I was like, I got all these great experiences out of it. And I swam in a lake for an entire summer. Like that was my thing. Like my mom lived in San Bernardino County, California, and I was like out there all the fucking time, just kicking it with her and having like fresh fruit at my fingertips. And now I work in a place where I'm like teaching people about fresh fruit at their fingertips because I work in an orchard. You know, like I have these experiences because I know like I made the decision that I'm gonna be happy and wherever life takes me, it takes me. But I know that at the end I'm gonna be happy. I'm probably gonna change jobs and then go on a training in Toronto. Like I don't.
Hey, Gabby.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? I lived 6 months in England. I don't care. Like
Yo.
it's gonna happen.
What is your talk?
Right, the fuck. I'm gonna get out like shit. That's amazing.
Gabby just like walked up to me one day. And
Wow.
she was
Randomly.
like, we should be friends. And I was like, yeah.
And then I saw you the next time and we were just like having this whole conversation about like I was like, oh my God, I got your number one time. You were like, and you never called. And I was like,
Never called.
we should hang out. Like, I don't know.
This is
when you say make a decision and embrace life, like, and I start reflecting on how I'm doing that. I'm like, yeah, because it's liberating. It really is.
So like, and I just want to share like that is like enlightenment. Like people think that enlightenment is like, oh, you know about crystals and the flower of life and like all of this stuff. And so crystals and the flower of life, I feel like that's like the left brain side of things. Like the right brain is literally just being. And honestly, just being is experiencing. Yeah. It's like, honestly, we are source, individualized embodied, experiencing ourselves for entertainment. That's why everybody's stories is always entertaining, you know? Like, what's your story? That's why I like hearing stories in rap. Like, just tell me something. Yeah, I went down the street in the corner store, and I had to shoot a nigga, but I had to F his whore. And, like, you know what I'm saying? But no, I know it's hella vulgar. It's hella vulgar. But, like, I want to hear what happened at the corner store. I want to hear what happened when you got home. Did your mother yell at you? I want to hear, did you play PlayStation right after that because you ain't give a fuck? Like, I want to hear the story. I don't want to hear all the, you know, the shit that they talk about now. Because stories are interesting because what's a story but a unique set of words that only you can say. And it's like, I want to hear that because that's new, that's fresh, it's new and fresh. You know, the universe is always new and fresh. Why? Because it's always expanding. It'll never be old. That's why time doesn't That's why people, when people say when you live in the past, you're in dis-ease. It's like you're literally dis-ease. It's like it's not ease. There's no ease within you because you're stuck. When you're stuck, you're not in motion. Life is always moving, always. And when you want to stay in one place, you're sick. That's what an Aborigines tribe in Australia would describe it as. They're always moving, but they move together. But they never stay in one plot of land. So they'll stay there for like a year, and they'll go to another one, and they'll go to another one, because they believe that stagnancy is sickness.
Because it is.
It is. And this is Aborigines, so they've been around for a long time. They understand this shit. So it's like, yeah, like you said, it festers, and you're like, I got to get out of here. Like, people don't even know that they're sick, because nobody told them they should travel. Until when they travel, they realize, damn, well, I ain't been to start traveling. And when I took that trip to Bali, I was like, yo, this is it. I'm about to keep doing this shit, and I did. I made a decision. So, you make a decision, you stand by it.
From people who do that, right? Like my great grandmother, my grandmother's mother, was like, she stayed in Oklahoma for 2 years before she died, but she was living everywhere. She was moving. She was like, okay, I'm done. Like, yeah, I'm gonna go visit somewhere else because I don't want to be here anymore.
And there's nothing wrong with having something be your home base. You know what I'm saying? That's fine. But like, yo, get out of here. Go. Like, come back home. You know what I'm saying? So it actually feels like, yo, go away so you miss your bed. You know what I'm saying? Let me get back in my bed. Because then you in your bed for about 2 months and you're like, all right, Thailand. What's up? Like, I've been in my bed for too long, nigga. But it's back and forth. And like you said, it's an endless loop. It'll never stop until you actually die. And you can't experience shit no more. It's like, damn. But that's why you gotta do all this shit. Because if you die and you're like, damn, I only lived in Baltimore since I was 80, yo. Niggas said, yo, let's go to DC. I ain't never go to DC. Damn, yo. Niggas said, yo, we going to Disneyland, yo.
$16.
Like, I said I was too old for Disneyland, yo. Like, niggas said, let's go to Six Flags. And I said, the roller coasters was whack, yo. Now you fucking dumb as shit. Sorry, I should have said that, but yeah, yo. But long story short, yo, just experience shit, man. And life will literally feel full. Like, you'll just feel like, man, I live this shit, or I am living this shit. But yeah, and I think I can end mine out with that because I know it's getting late. I don't know what time it is, but
this whole shit was beautiful.
Thanks. My mom just called me. I should have picked up. I ain't know it was ringing. Yeah, I just want to thank y'all. Well, at least first thank Alana for wanting me to be a part of her event and feeling like I would add value to it. And I just want to thank everybody for just being here and listening to me and hearing what I got to say. I'm just so passionate about this. Like, this is all I do every single day. Like, do Uber. While I'm doing Uber, I'm listening to speakers on YouTube. I literally started paying for YouTube Red so I can minimize the shit. Like, I get serious about this shit.
Is that,
it is your shit. When you get it, it's like, all right, yo.
No thanks.
It's it's so annoying.
Yeah, but when you commit, and you like, let me fuck with this YouTube Red shit. You get the minimizing shit. And you like, shit, this shit all right. Like, shit worth the $12. Like, you don't really think about it.
$12.
Yeah.
My shit $9.99.
For YouTube Red?
Yeah.
They get me for that 3.
You got the Cali version.
They get me for that 3.